In this Star Wars Zero Company news update video, I will be sharing with you some brand new details that I have discovered about the game. Before we do dive into all of today's news though, make sure you do subscribe to this channel so you won't miss any future news updates on Zero Company. So, it has been a quiet few months in relation to Star Wars Zero Company. We haven't had any official news updates on this game since Star Wars Celebration all the way back in April. However, I do have a couple of things I want to share with you today, including something I found myself that's interesting to me. I do want to get started with something that you may have missed that happened back in May, and that's in relation to some new images of Trick, otherwise known as CT3301, who is one of the pre-made characters made for this game. Of course, you can customise your characters and make your squad how you want it to be, but this is the clone that Bit Reactor have made for this game, as part of the more canonical storyline. Since its reveal at Star Wars Celebration, a bunch of cosplayers have created outfits based on Trick and other members of Zero Company, and these images will just allow us to get a better look of the character model, but also those that create cosplays for these characters, they now can make more accurate looks. Next up, let's get into some release date speculation and technical details for this game, which I discovered on my own. So I just decided to check the job listings for this game on Bit Reactor's website to see if there were anything I could take a look at, because it's been relatively quiet over the past few months, given that they did staff up a lot over the past few years and now the game is in full production. They currently have 3 positions available on contract, and it's a 6-month contract, which could suggest that the game is coming out right at the start of next year. Clearly they only need these 3 positions filled for 6 months, given that they would expect to fill these roles fairly soon, and in 6 months' time it will be 2026, and that's the release year of this game. I have to speculate that, yeah, it should be coming out at the start of the next year, which I hope it does, because GTA 6 is going to blow everything away. It's just going to dominate the conversation and people's spending habits for so long. It's going to be a bloodbath. So many games are going to suffer because of it. And I've had far too many people say, but Star Wars Zero Company and other games are completely different to GTA 6. They have completely different audiences. And yes, but also no. They are very different. But we've seen what GTA 5 did when that came out. For example, back when GTA 5 came out and GTA 6 is already being much more highly anticipated, it took in 90% of the money spent on video games in launch week and most of the month of September in the UK, and that was during a FIFA release month. And FIFA is basically the biggest game that releases every single year, pretty much, in the UK. So the fact that GTA ate up all of that money is insane, and that was GTA 5. GTA 6 is going to cause every game problems, including Zero Company, depending when it does release. So fingers crossed it does release much earlier than GTA 6 does in May. Hopefully it's not anywhere close. If not, it may have to be moved later on in the year just so the game can survive. It sucks, but genuinely this is what is going to happen to almost every game. Publishers are scared right now because of GTA 6. Very, very scared. So many publishers are wanting to move their games, but also don't want to because it's going to cost so much. So they might have to bring it forward, which means it may not launch as polished as they would have liked. It's just insane. And all these games are nothing like GTA. They're absolutely nothing to do with GTA. A bunch of them are single-player games as well. So yeah, it's going to be a crazy period, and I really hope Zero Company does come out unscathed from all of this, but it really just needs to release not anywhere close to GTA 6. Moving on to something more technical, and this is coming from the job listings and another developer that posted on their ArtStation. So we now have confirmation that Star Wars Zero Company is running on Unreal Engine 5.5, so version 5.5, which released in November 2024. It's a much more recent version of Unreal Engine 5 as opposed to what we've seen some more recent games that have come out have been using, and definitely is going to be more interesting to see because a lot has improved in 5.5 compared to the first iteration of Unreal Engine 5 back when it did release. This means Bit Reactor will be releasing a game that is including a lot of the latest technology possible, whereas a lot of other games haven't been able to do that, probably because this is a smaller scale game, this is a good thing, honestly. In terms of specific features, a developer on Zero Company at Bit Reactor did state on their ArtStation page that they've been working with their graphics engineers to test out Unreal's new mesh painting features, which were implemented in 5.5 and onward. Unfortunately, they were not able to get this ready for the trailer, so you don't see mesh painting in the trailer whatsoever. It just was not there. So that's a shame, but still, it's great to see that we will be seeing upgrades on the game thanks to developments with the Unreal Engine tech that you've been able to put in the development pipeline and get ready for Zero Company before it actually does come out. If you aren't aware what mesh painting means in Unreal Engine 5.5, basically it allows developers to apply colour and texture on meshes directly in Unreal Engine's editor, so this is a big improvement for those working on the game. In Unreal Engine 5.5 there is support for mesh painting on nanite meshes, so you are going to be able to do this to nanite. In case you aren't aware what nanite is, it was one of the big new features and selling points of Unreal Engine 5 back when it did get revealed. It allows for extremely high poly count models with an automatic level of detail. I'm really excited to see what more technology they've been able to put into Zero Company, because it will be releasing around 3 years after Jedi Survivor, so this will be a really interesting look, and it's the first Star Wars game that will be Unreal Engine 5 based. I also wanted to give some coverage to a couple of Twitter accounts that have received merchandise from EA Star Wars that is Zero Company branded, which is pretty cool, from a jacket to a shirt to a hat. I'm looking forward to seeing if they do more merchandise for this game, but unfortunately this seems like it was just a limited drop to a couple of people on Twitter. It also gives us a look at a patch that we have not seen before, I don't think, in any of the other media, so that's interesting. I'd love to hear your thoughts on anything I've talked about in this video, so please do let me know down in the comment section below, and remember to drop a like to help support the channel. Subscribe so you don't miss any future Star Wars Zero Company news updates, and if you did miss any of my previous videos, click on the playlist on screen right now, and I shall see you in my next video. Goodbye.